Once, in a quiet village surrounded by rolling hills and tall cedar trees, there lived a young archer named Hiroshi. Hiroshi was known in the village as talented and disciplined. Every morning, before the sun fully rose, he would walk to the old wooden dojo at the edge of the fields, carrying his bow with care. The air there was usually calm, the ground was familiar, and the target stood patiently, as it always had. For years, archery had been Hiroshi's refuge. But lately, it had become something else, a burden. In the past, Hiroshi had faced setbacks that were difficult to explain. A competition he had prepared for was canceled without reason. A teacher once criticized his work publicly despite his effort. Opportunities slipped away, not because of a lack of skill, but because of circumstances beyond his control. And now, another tournament approached. This one felt important. Important not just to win, but to prove something. To himself. That morning, Hiroshi stood in the practice field, feet firmly planted, eyes fixed on the center of the target. He inhaled deeply, drew the bowstring back. His body was steady. His aim was true. And then, a sudden gust of wind swept across the field. The arrow left the string and curved sharply to the side. It missed the target completely. Hiroshi stared in disbelief. He shot again. Another gust. Another miss. His jaw tightened. His breath grew shallow. On the third attempt, the wind returned stronger than before, sending the arrow far off course. Hiroshi slammed his bow to the ground. "This is unfair," he muttered. "Every time I am ready, something interferes." He looked up at the sky as if it were an enemy. "The wind," he said bitterly. "The timing, the conditions, fate." It felt familiar. Once again, something outside of him had ruined his effort. Once again, he felt powerless. With frustration heavy in his chest, Hiroshi left the field and walked toward the riverbank, where an old Zen master lived beneath ancient trees. The master was known for speaking little and listening much. He spent most of his days sitting quietly, watching the water move past stones that never tried to stop it. Hiroshi bowed deeply and spoke. "Master," he said, "how can a person succeed when the world itself stands in the way?" The old man opened his eyes slowly. "What troubles you?" he asked. Hiroshi's words spilled out. "I practice. I prepare. I do everything right. But still, things go wrong. Today, the wind stole my shot. It was perfect until it wasn't. How can anyone live peacefully when forces they cannot control keep ruining their efforts?" The master listened without interruption. When Hiroshi finished, the old man stood up and picked up his walking staff. "Come," he said gently. "Bring your bow." They walked together to an open meadow where the wind moved freely, unhindered by trees or walls. The grass bent and rose again with each passing gust. The master gestured toward a simple target placed at a distance. "Shoot," he said. Hiroshi raised his bow. As he drew the string back, the wind returned. It pressed against his sleeves. It shifted his balance. His hands tightened. The arrow flew and missed. Hiroshi lowered the bow in frustration. "I told you," he said. "The wind." The master raised a hand. "Again," he said calmly. But this time the master continued, "Do not aim at the target." Hiroshi looked confused. "Then what should I aim at?" he asked. The master stepped closer and spoke softly. "Feel the bow in your hands. Feel the string. Feel your breath entering and leaving. Let the arrow go when it is ready, not when you demand it." Hiroshi hesitated. He drew the bow again. The wind moved, just as before. He wanted to rush, to fight it, to force the shot, but he remembered the master's words. He slowed his breath. Inhalation, exhalation. He released the arrow. It missed again. The master smiled. "You see," Hiroshi said, disappointment rising again. "No matter what I do, the wind decides the outcome." The master nodded. "Yes," he said, "the wind decides many things." Then he looked directly at Hiroshi. "But tell me, did the wind disturb your hands? Did it disturb your breath? Or did it disturb only your expectations?" Hiroshi fell silent. The master continued. "The wind is like the storms of life. Uninvited, unpredictable, uncontrollable." He paused. "To curse the wind is to fire a second arrow into your own heart." Hiroshi frowned slightly. The master explained. The first arrow is what happens. Loss, failure, criticism, change. The second arrow is what you add. Anger, blame, resentment, the belief that life is against you. He gestured toward the meadow. The true archer releases with full presence. He accepts the gust as it is. His effort remains pure, even if the arrow strays. The master's voice was steady. You are responsible for your stance, your breath, your awareness. The rest belongs to the wind. Hiroshi stood quietly, letting the words settle. He picked up his bow once more. The wind moved again, just as it always had. But something was different. He no longer waited for it to stop. He no longer argued with it in his mind. He breathed. He felt the bow. He accepted the moment as it was. He released the arrow. This time it flew cleanly. It struck the target, not perfectly centered but true. And Hiroshi smiled, not because of where the arrow landed, but because his chest felt light. Even if it had missed, he realized the calm would have remained. The master watched quietly as the wind continued to move through the meadow, just as it always had. Hiroshi, he said, wherever life sends winds of change or failure, stay present. The wind will rise. The wind will fall. Targets will be hit or missed. He turned toward the river. But peace belongs to the one who does not cling to blame. Hiroshi bowed deeply. As he walked back toward the village, the wind brushed past him once more. This time, he did not resist it. He walked with it. And for the first time in a long while, he felt free. In life, you cannot control the wind, but you can control how tightly you grip the bow. When you stop fighting what you cannot change, your effort becomes lighter, your heart becomes steadier, and your path becomes clear.